Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswatye Namaha. Om Shri Chinmaya Satgurave Namaha. Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yatkrupatamaham Vande Paramananda Madhavam. Paramananda Madhavam. Om Sri Chinmaya Satgurave Namaha. ഒരു ചോദ്യമുണ്ട്. ചോദ്യം ഇതാണ്: what could be the cosmic intention for projecting the world as real for a jiva in the first place, and subsequently through shastras, which is nothing but Brahman manifestation, explain world is unreal by changing the very perception with the purification of the mind. I think this question may be raging in many minds. Why this creation, the why and wherefore of this creation. This is going to be the topic that is being unfolded in this verse and the coming verses. So in the course of the explanation, we will cover it. So we need not discuss it exclusively now. Because that is going to be precisely the topic. Okay. So we said the creation Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya Jivo Brahmaiva Na Aparaha. The Jiva is nothing short of this Paramatma or Brahman itself, and the whole purpose of life is to attain that Brahman, reach that state, and it is not to be created. It is already there. We are already Brahman. We are already the reality. But then, due to thick ignorance, we are not able to experience it. We are not able to know it. And the whole, the effort, the attempt of the Vedanta Shastra is to remove this veil of darkness of ignorance and bring in this light of knowledge. That is why, this Mahavakyas, yesterday Advayanandaji discussed, whether it is Aham Brahmasmi or Tattvamasi or Prajnanam Brahma or Ayam Atma Brahma, all these Mahavakyas and many more Mahavakyas are there, but these are selected, one each selected from each Veda. So all these Mahavakyas drive home only one point, that is Jivo Brahmaiva Naparaha. This we have to be very clear. Then so many questions will arise in our mind. Like one person has asked, see, who created this, why this creation, etc., etc. And that is the topic Bhagavan himself is unfolding. So I need not get into the gun and short off. Okay. Vishwam Darpana Drishyamana Nagari Tulyam Nijandargatam Pashyan Natmani Mayaya Bahirivot Bhutam Yatha Nidraya Yes Sakshat Kurude Prabodha Samaye Swatmana Mevadvayam Tasmai Sri Guru Murtaye Namayidam Sri Dakshinamurtaye. So I salute that Sri Dakshinamurti. Now this Dakshinamurti Stotram has two major commentaries. One is Vartikam by none other than Sureshwaracharya, was the direct disciple of Shankara Bhagavad-pada, and subsequent that Vartikam is called that. Vartikam means a detailed commentary. So that is called Manasolasam. And there is another one that is by one what is called Vritti Sudha. Okay. We are not going into detail. Only thing is, we base our Puja Gurudev has also based his commentary on this Manasolasam and the Vritti Sudha. Here, this salutation, Nama Idam Sri Dakshinamurtaye. Dakshinamurti, generally, what do we know about Dakshinamurti? They say this Dakshinamurti is an avatar of Lord Shiva, and Dakshinamurti is called because he is south faced. He is facing towards south, so he is called Dakshinamurti. They say these sadhaks, when they do sadhana, when they do japa, meditation and all that, especially this seekers of truth, Vedanta sadhakas, they say the ideal direction is they face towards north. Why? Because the Guru, Dakshinamurti, is facing towards south. So we face him. We sit in front of him. And the great Mahatmas who have realized the souls, when they do dhyana, when they are performing Nirvikalpa and all that, Samadhi, Dhyanam, so they face south again to bless the seekers. They are playing out the role of Dakshinamurti only, blessing the seekers. So, see, my prostrations unto that Dakshinamurti. And Dakshinamurti, we should not take that word for granted. Dakshinamurti, the south-faced god, Lord Shiva. Okay, Lord Shiva, but the Bhartiyakaras and other commentators, they explain, Dakshina means south. And the Guru Dakshina, that is also there, Dakshina. Here, Dakshina, south. But here, there is another meaning. That is what I want to draw your attention to. Dakshinaha means Samarthaha. There is one, sloka. Shemushi Dakshina Prokta Sa Yasyam Ikshane Mukham Dakshinabhimukha Proktaha Shivoso Brahmavadibihi. The Brahmavadi means the knowers of Brahman. They say, what do they say? Shemushi Dakshina Prokta. Shemushi means the intellect, the brilliant intellect, not ordinary one. Shemushi Dakshina, that is called Dakshina. Not south or the Guru Dakshina and all. Dakshina means Samartha, Samarthya, Dakshina. So, the seekers are sitting in his direction. Sa yasyam ikshane mukham. The seekers means you and I, we come under under his glance. Ikshane Dakshina Abhimukha Proktaha Shivoso Brahmavadibihi. So through his compassionate glance, he blesses the seekers, and he is competent to do that. He is capable of doing that because his intellect is all brilliance with knowledge. And there is yet another explanation similar to that, and that is Sri Dakshinamurti. Sri means the Maya Shakti itself. Anadya Achintya Maya Shaktya. Anadi Achintya Maya Shaktya. Srishti Sthiti Anta Virachina Nipunascha Dakshinaha Paramartadaha Amurtischa. So this Srishti, here Dakshinamurti, now he's playing the role of a guru, but all the same, Ishvaro Guru Ratmedi. According to Vedanta, the Ishvara, Guru, Atma, all are one. So here Dakshinamurti is Sakshat Paramatma itself, my own self. Sriya, the Maya Shakti, he is creating. What he is creating the world, sustaining it, and towards the end, destroying it also. So Srishti Sthiti Samhara Naipunyam Yasya Asti Saha Dakshinaha Amurtascha. He doesn't have a form also. Amurtischa. Therefore, it may be a bit difficult to understand, is it? Doesn't matter. Please simply understand that Dakshinamurti has some inner meaning also. That very term has some inner meaning also. That is not just south-faced God, but it has a dimension, a Vedantic dimension to it. That is one who is capable of blessing the seekers who are taking asylum at his feet, and whose grace and blessings will flow towards making the seekers remove their impurities of their minds. So this Dakshinamurti, I salute that great master, the divine teacher. And who is he? Yaha Sakshat Kurudev, one who realizes, one who has realized, one who experiences when at the time of realization, Prabodha Samaye, at the time of enlightenment, at the time of realization, one who experiences that, what does he experience? That immutable self. Swatmanam. Swatmanam means Advayam. Swatmanam means his own self, which is nothing other than our own self also. The same self everywhere. Swatma, that is Advayam, one without a second. It's not that there are so many selves. It's one self. And self, when you write, yes, capital letter, that is the supreme soul, just for understanding. And small self, that is individuality, you and I. This has to be understood. When we see in Vedantic text, self with a capital S, that means the supreme self. Yes, with a small self, that means the ego, you and I, the individuality. Yaha Sakshat Kurude Prabodha Samaye Swatmana Mevadvayam. To that, Dakshinamurti, who is none other than Lord Shiva himself, whose very glance graces and blesses the community of seekers, and See further, how does he go about? He's Paramatma himself, and Paramatma is the one who creates the world. And how does he do it? Vishwam Darpana Drishyamana Nagari Tulyam Nijandargatam. See, we see the world. Says, how is it seen? You are in a city. Suppose many of you are in the cities only. You are in a city, and from the third floor, or say seventh floor or 16th floor top, and there from your sit out balcony, you turn your face from the city and hold a mirror, and the whole city is reflected in your mirror, doesn't it? You understand? The whole city, and you see the whole city there. But what you see in the mirror, you see the city. But is it real? It is not real. It is not real. It is only a reflection. See, Vishwam Darpana. Darpana means mirror. Vishwam Darpane Drishyamana Nagari Tulyam. This whole world is like a big city seen in a mirror. Vishwam Darpana Drishyamana. Where inside the mirror you see. You look in the mirror and you see this. Similarly, the whole world that you and I see, where is it actually? Nija Andargatam. It is within ourselves only. Oh, Swamiji, this is very difficult to accept. Meaning, this world is unreal. What you see is only, whatever you see is within you only. Immediately we can't accept it. Natural. Nija Andargata. But the realized soul, the Guru, Dakshinamurti sees it that way. Dakshinamurti may see, but then we don't see that. Right? Our experience is totally different and diametrically opposite. We see all these things outside. Pashyan Atmani, but the thing is, Bhagavan Shankaracharya is citing an example and trying to instruct us in the knowledge, that is how this creation takes place. That is why I said to the one who has asked the question, this is going to be the topic for discussion. Pashyan Atmani Mayaya. Bahiriva. We see the world we see the world outside, but actually it is not outside, it is within. This is very difficult to accept. Vedanta we all like, Upanishad we respect, Vedas we revere, and Gurus also we respect. But then this is very difficult to accept. The whole world that we see is within ourselves. It's a difficult proposition, is it not? Don't expect us to swallow this just like that. We have good upstairs, very bright and brilliant. We can't accept these things like this. Okay, now let us try to elaborate on this. For example, see, I am in a room and you are each one in your own homes. Right? All right. And this is supposed to be our waking state, correct? We are all awake. We are all awake to the class that is taking place. And we see, we are using this laptop or the mobile and, taking part in this online class. These are all our experience. And now I see some of you, not all are not seen on the screen. Some of you I see outside only, not inside. But who is the seer? Please understand. Who is the seer? Who sees? My eyes see. My eyes see. You see, eyes are seeing. If the eyes are not backed up by the mind, would it see? Eyes will not see if the eyes are backed up by the mind. I may be watching on the screen, but then my mind may be wandering elsewhere. It is possible, is it not? Huh? So we are analyzing, and when the mind is set to work, then only the world. So where is this world? See, the world that we experience, where is it? It is within our mind only, is it not? It is within our mind. It has to be, everybody will accept. And that is why when we are asleep, we are able to dismiss the whole world. Is it not true? We are so capable, we can dismiss the whole world. When we get into sleep. Means what? The mind is not functioning, so the world is not functioning. So the world that I experience is within my mind. When the mind opens up, everything is at work. When the mind closes, means when the mind is at rest, nothing is experienced. Now, another question. Oh, that means where is the mind? You have to inquire, no? Vedantic students should be able to investigate, should be able to think. Where is the mind? Or what is the mind? Yesterday, mind is a flow of thoughts. Mind is a flow of thoughts. So, where do the thoughts flow? Where do the thoughts flow? You can say, in the mind. Mind is the flow of thoughts. So, if the river is flowing, the waters are flowing, right? Am I clear? So, another example, when the train is running on the rails, only train is running, the rail is not running, the line. That metallic rail line, no, they are stable, they are stationary, they don't run, only the train runs. Like that, the waters flow, the river bed is stable, stationary. Okay. So for anything to flow, there should be a bottom, a substratum, a base. For the train to run, there should be a rail line. And for the waters to flow in a river, there should be a river bed. Similarly, please pay your attention. Similarly, for the mind, that means the flow of thoughts to take place, there should be a mind bed or the thought bed. Clear? What is that thought bed? That is called pure consciousness, Chit. Are you getting the point? The Chit. That is the pure consciousness. That is itself Sat, because Chit Asti, Chit exists. This fundamental principle point should be very clear in our minds. When the Acharya says Huh? When the Acharya says, Vishwam Darpana Drishyamana Nagari Tulyam Nijandargatam Pashyan Atmani Mayaya Bahirivot Bhutam Yatha Nidraya. He gives another example. See, the whole world is seen. The question earlier, questioner was asking why the God created the world. Like, why did we dream? Ask the question ourselves, why did we dream? Is there any answer? We dreamt because we can say from psychoanalysis we can say there were some samskaras in us which we gathered during the waking state, and from there when we went to bed, these samskaras matured and manifested, and there we had our dream. Clear? The permutation and combination may be different and sometimes funny and hilarious, but that is how the dreams take place. Okay. An elephant may be flying. You have seen some flying things or some creatures, birds, an elephant also you have seen, but it gets joined in the dream. These are all within the possibilities, impossible things. Here, Bhagavan Shankaracharya says, Pashyannatmani mayaya bahirivat bhutam yatha nidriya. See, how in the pure consciousness, which is Advaitam, which is one without a second, how this world can come forth, manifest. The Acharya posits here what? Mayaya. Mayaya. Oh, this is what the Vedantins say. Anything happen, immediately they will bring in Maya. Correct? What is this Maya? What is that? One definition is Yama Sa Maya. Very, very interesting and amusing definitions are there. Yama Sa Maya. That which is not, that is Maya. What definition is it? Through all these definitions, we are slowly trying to understand what the whole thing is. And then there is another definition which Acharya Shankara has given. Aghatita Ghatana Patiyasi Maya. Aghatita Ghatana Patiyasi Maya. That which creates something which is impossible to create. That which is capable of doing impossible things. Aghatita Ghatana Patiyasi Maya. So, in this supreme consciousness, one without a second, Advaitam, the Sat Chit Ananda, it is one, not that Sat is separate, Chit is separate, Ananda is separate. No, it is all one, homogeneous, one truth, absolute truth. In that, the creation has taken place. It cannot take place, but then it is our experience. And when we dream, after the dream, hey, why did you dream? We can't answer. We can explain this way. Like that, we can say the creation is in Vedanta Shastra, in our Sanatana Dharma, the creation is not coming out of nothing. Please understand. Creation is actually a kind of a projection. So, there is no answer to the question, why did we dream? When we see these verses, Bhagavan Shankaracharya himself is explaining everything so nicely. But it takes some time for us to get the concept right, to understand the thing. Because we are not conceptualizing things. See, the world is there. That is your experience, my experience. And that is to be explained. And that is to be explained in the way the Shastras have attempted to do it. And that is where the Maya is posited. You know, this Maya in our Bhagavatam and all that, beautifully, it is in the form of some stories Bhagavan himself has explained. I shall narrate because that some distraction is there. Your mind also might have been disturbed because of the net problem. So I shall do one thing. I shall tell another story where Bhagavan himself explains or shows what this Maya Pradibhas, Maya phenomenon is. Once you know, Narada Muni is a great bhakta of Narayana. Narayana, 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 like that he always. And once he used to visit Lord Krishna also during his avatar. And once he used to live with him for some time. And once he asked Bhagavan, see, I have heard a lot about this, your Maya, Maya, Maya. I really don't understand. Like you and I don't understand Maya now, What is this Maya? It is a mystery and it is a riddle. It is a conundrum. It's a puzzle. We don't know what it is all about. So, Bhagavan just smiled. Because Narada was also, experiencing this world. And then this Maya, 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 the Maharshis, those who are enlightened, they're all talking about this Maya, Maya, Maya. Wherever he attended a Dakshinamurti Stotram class, Narada also used to listen about Maya. Naturally, he was very curious to know what is Maya because it's very difficult to understand. Now, Bhagavan did not answer. Let us see. In due course, I shall try to explain. I also find it very difficult to explain what it is. One day, they went on a stroll, Bhagavan and Narayana, Lord Krishna and Narada. And they walked and walked. At one stage, at one point, Bhagavan said, Narad, see, I am feeling very thirsty. Would you mind scouting for some water? I didn't carry my water bottle also. So, would you mind looking for some water and getting my thirst quenched? Narada Muni is an opportunity to serve Bhagavan. So he said, yes, Bhagavan, please wait. I will just go around and see. And Narada Muni, Bhagavan was seated somewhere and Narada Muni went round and there he saw a river flowing at a distance. And then he went there. At that time, a beautiful young lady was there. She had come to draw water from the river. And Narada Muni looked at her and she was so nice, so beautiful. And she looked at him and he in fact fell for her, so to say. So he asked her, hey, who are you? She said, yes, I am so and so, I am so and so, I am so and so. Okay, I would like to marry you. But then I can't decide that this is a matter which my parents have to be consulted. And but Narada Muni, yes, let us go and consult. I will also come with you. Where are your parents? So both of them went to the parents. And of course, the parents readily agreed because none other than Narada Muni is asking for her hand, So The parents readily agreed, and the marriage took place, and they started living. And a family was raised year after year after year after, some half a dozen children also. And it was on the river bank they were living. And then, so many years passed and very happy life. And suddenly there was a flash flood. The river was flooded. The water level went up. And then, their house was submerged. And one after another, the members of the family, they were all taken away by the waters. And at last he tried to save his wife, but he couldn't get the grip of her, and she also went away. And he was so crestfallen, so downhearted, so upset, and he sat there lamenting over the whole thing. And then he heard just a sound from behind. Lord Krishna was standing there. Hey, Narada, half an hour over, you are still here, sitting here? Half an hour over. You haven't found water for me? Suddenly Narada woke up. Hey, Bhagavan, where are my children? Where's my wife? What children, what wife? Bhagavan smiled. Bhagavan said, Narada, this is called Maya. This is called Maya. Just within a span of 30 minutes, how many years elapsed? So, we know about the time shown to us by our watch, our clock, our timepiece, or the sunrise or the sunset. And we also heard about the Einsteinian world of time and space. What? Because the entire cosmos, the entire creation is, as Einstein has put it, nicely, it is coming within the time and space. Is it not true? Time and space, Kala Desha. And there, Einstein has said, this is all relative. He has rightly put it, this is relative. And you and I also have experienced it so many times. Just think, if you think it up, it comes to your mind. There comes a visitor home to your home. And he's very, very close to you. Very dear. Very dear friend, very close. And after a long time you are meeting. How? So nice. And you have so many things to talk, nothing, but so many sweet things, so many. Hours pass by. Is it not true? And you don't know. And then suddenly you looked at the watch. He said, I have to leave now. I must get going. Hey, no, you can't go. You can't go like this. After so long we are meeting. No, I have to go. I have another appointment. How the time passed. And the next day, another man visits your home. He is a mega bore. Not an ordinary bore, a mega bore. Understand? He goes on talking about himself. And he finds you a good listener, and he takes it as an encouragement. He goes on, and you look at the watch in between. And in between you may ask also, what's your next program? He may say, no next program, I'm here only. Understand? The time doesn't move. the sorrow-ridden people, the people who are in misery, how the time crawls, time doesn't move. But people who are very happy, people who are very busy, very energetic, very active, very enthusiastic, the time runs. Is it not true? Oh, yes, we have a device, a clock or timepiece, or they show some time, and the sunrise, sunset, evening. These are all due to man's device. But then the time is more psychological than physical. Is it not true? Just think of it. The time and space, Kala Desha, are the creations of Maya. Now, this half an hour span, Narada went through what kind of experiences of years and years and years experiences he went through. Understand, please. So, this Maya is a phenomenon which we need to understand. Swamiji, this is all, you are explaining away things. That is all what we can do. We have to understand. Simple thing is, as we said earlier, our mind functions, the world exists for us. The mind doesn't function, the world ceases to exist for us. Is it not true? When the mind is alive, when the mind is functioning, the whole world functions. When the mind is not functioning, the world is not there. So the Manayeva Manushyanam Karanam Bandha Mokshayoho. The world that we create, in which miseries and worries and sorrows and whatnot are there, is all the creation of the mind. If you are able to understand the very, very phenomenon of mind, you will go a long way in discovering what your true nature is. Because mind is making a monkey of us, actually, making us do whatever it wants. That is why our acharyas say, first of all, bring the mind under control. Bringing the mind under control means regulate the thoughts, control the thoughts. If you are able to regulate your thoughts, control your thoughts, you start becoming a master of yourself. The world becomes or comes at your feet if you have fully controlled the mind. And mind is the medium through which we experience the world, and mind is an instrument through which we can realize the truth also. It is double-edged. You tune the mind, tame the mind, and tune the mind. Through that mind, through that equipment, you are able to realize the truth. And that this is the very mind which binds us to the world. So should we choose to live under the thraldom, under the shackles, under the bondage of the mind, or should we get liberated? If you have to get liberated, go beyond the mind. How to go beyond the mind? You can't just wish the mind away. That's not possible. We have to understand the mind. Mind is actually a miniature Maya, so to say. We will talk about it more in our classes. Now here, Pashyan Atmani Mayaya Bahirivod Bhudam Yatha Nidreya. Like, you are in deep sleep and then you see a dream. When you are experiencing the dream is real for you. You don't think this is only a dream. No, it is real. All the experiences are real. But you are living in your comfortable, sleeping in your comfortable room. That's a different thing. But then you are as long as you are experiencing the dream, that is a reality for you. Similarly, presently we are experiencing this world of experiences. Your friends, your family members, husband, wife, children, everyone is there. Vedanta doesn't dismiss all these things. That is why Vyavaharika Satta is there. Vyavaharika Satta means it has an empirical reality. It has an empirical reality. But as the mind changes, your values change. Please understand the mind. So when you were a small baby, say 3-year-old baby, and on your birthday, somebody gives you a toy, what you call a teddy bear. A teddy bear is good. Oh, you have gone to it. When you are awake, when you are sleeping, always you have gone to it. You are so much attached to it. Is it not true? A teddy bear or any toy for that matter. These days there are much more advanced toys. And then this baby grows into childhood and then boyhood. Then he becomes a young man. The same boy, the same man, young man, at the age of 21, you happen to meet him and you give him a gift. What? A teddy bear. A teddy bear. Are you getting the point? When he is 21, if you give him a teddy bear as birthday gift, that is an insult to him, is it not? You are insulting him. Why? Because over the years, his mind has changed, his values has changed, his perspective has changed, his perception has changed. Now he doesn't want, and he renounces all these teddy bears very naturally. He is a sannyasi of teddy bear. He has total sannyasa bhava to it. But now, what is he attached to? He is attached to Yamaha. Understand? Yamaha or a four-wheeler, these things, or a computer, or a high-profile mobile phone. These things he gets attached to because his values have changed. When the mind changes, things do change. The whole perception changes. And when our mind is made to perceive the absolute truth, the Paramatman, when we elevate ourselves to the Brahmic consciousness, the enlightenment, at that time, we see all this world, no doubt. Not that suddenly, we dismiss this world. No, we see everything as we are seeing today, but then everything we will be able to see anew. You understand? Seeing anew means seeing in a different, like the 21-year-old boy started looking at the teddy bear which he himself played with when he was a baby 3-year-old. The same teddy bear, he looks at it, but he is no more attached to it. Like that, the world will continue to be there, but it will not affect him. This is the highest stage when we reach. What is to be changed is our vision. Okay. This is a visional transformation. So we change the vision and our perception, everything changes. More of it we will see tomorrow early morning, 7 a.m. Okay, Hariom, please. If there will be so many doubts, please don't hesitate to ask. You can ask. WhatsApp me the questions in a brief manner. Okay. My WhatsApp number, I think everybody has noted, 94471555637. You can WhatsApp to me in case of any question. Okay, in case of any doubt. Let us, as much as possible, let us keep clearing our doubts and move ahead. Okay, thank you. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Hariam, thank you.